Hi everybody, thanks for joining us again. In this video, we're going to show you how we do things my way. So far in the previous 4 videos, we've shown you Angular, we've shown you MVC.NET, we've shown you how to send data back and forth between the server and the browser, how to read the data from the database, save it to the database, play with complex object models. But now I want to show you how I would actually do it, because as all of you know, I'm quite lazy and this is too much work for me. To create a Poco object like orders and order details and do all of this work is really too much work for me. So I created let's first of all imagine the scenario. Currently I'm only showing some very basic details for the order, but the order entity has a lot more things to give me. If we'll have a look, we have many more columns that we can use. Ship via, ship region, ship postal code, ship date, name, country, city. And for every one of these, using the patterns that we're using right now, I will have to add another property here, like public string, or int in this case, ship via, and public string ship city, and then also remember to set them here correctly with ship via is equal to o dot, and this can get old really fast. So we've done something else. So this is the basic way of adding it, and I believe this is the wrong way of adding it. So here the world is split. This is what they call a Poco object, and I think the conventional knowledge would say create many Poco objects with a lot of properties to represent your data. But since 90% of what we do is actually show data, much less than we update data, I believe there should be an easier way to create this. And to do that, I've created the S-array. S-array and S-objects are a set of classes that represents an object model, which is kind of a big word for being able to later save it to either JSON, XML, or CSV. Let me show you how we replace the usage of what we have right now with the usage of S-array. First of all, let's take this part away from getting the order details and place it in our controller, because it's kind of makes sense now. Okay, we can build it, and now we can get the result in the browser, and everything is still working exactly the same. Cool. Next, let's go ahead and comment out the save for a second. We'll later dive back into it. Let's just get an object here for now. And let's delete the orders object and the orders detail object. And instead, whenever we use them, let's use something else, which I believe is simpler. So instead of having a list of order details, we will have here an S-array, utils.sArray. And we'll also be returning utils.sArray. And over here, where we've added the order details, we'll say O equals to AR add object. And we'll replace these functions with O set, the names that we wanted, and the values that we wanted. Now, we don't really have to take care of trim because the object is doing that for us. Okay. And so we'll do the same for the next 2 lines. As you can see, I'm known for being lazy, so I try to find tricks to do it quickly. Cool. And we're just returning our object. Next, let's go and fix get the actual data over here. Again, instead of list of orders, we say new utils.sArray, and OR will be AR.add object, and we'll be able to do the same trick we've done before. OR set interface it to all of these. And here in details, we're going to set it to the SRAs that we get as a result of the get details for. Now, if you want to add more columns, I can allow myself to be lazy, and instead of saying OR set, I can just say OR set and give it an array of the columns that I want to use. So I want to have ship city and ship country and ship name and ship via and pretty much anything I want. And if I didn't provide it a name, it will use the DB name as the default JSON name, and you are more than welcome to change this code to return something that is even better. But after this bit of cleanup code, here we're adding the AR2 result instead of the JSON because we're already taking care of that as well. You can see that this code became what I believe to be easier to read and easier to use. Now let's go ahead to the browser and check it. And as you can see, everything works perfectly. But now if we look at the results that we got in our request, we can see that we have a complex object model with all the information that we wanted. Okay, so without us having to create that object model, we just use this simple set method that makes everything a lot simpler. We have the benefit of being able to create a complex JSON object. Now let's have a look at the change that we've done. I think this is best understood through version control. Okay, so we've simply replaced list of orders with SRA. We can see that the columns turn to be this, and we can see how we were able to add many more columns. And we had the benefit of deleting all of this code. Cool. Now, this is great for those 90% of the cases when we want to just read data. And remember, most applications mostly read and sometimes saves. But let's say that we want to save it, and we want to use the nifty MVC tools to get the JSON back at an object. Well, here there's a cool trick. If I'm going to click Save now, the request will go and return with OK. I'll go to the save, to the request. I can see here the object that I've sent, and I'll request for its source, and I will copy it. Now, in Visual Studio, I will use one of the cool hidden features, which is called Edit, Paste Special, Paste JSON as XML. This will take the JSON structure that I copied and create the necessary object model for it to operate. Voila! So now I have my nice little object model. And instead of calling this root object, I can rename it order. And I can resave it, I can save it in my, I can use it in my save method as follows. And let's put a breakpoint here and run. Click Save, and you can see that we got to this method, and the orders object is populated with all the extra data that was added, and all of that extra wiring just wasn't required. So this entire piece of code was automatically generated by .NET based on the JSON files that I'm supposed to parse. And this makes it very easy to handle JSON information that comes from the browser in an easy-to-use class model within your code. So you'll be able to distinguish between the JavaScript, string-based, non-safe code to the C# strongly typed, easy-to-use code. Well, I hope you liked this video and this series. Please feel free to comment and suggest ideas, and feel free to share with us what you do with this. Now, please remember, this is just an intro video. It just shows you how the basic wiring works. It doesn't imply for the best practices or this is how you should do it. We recommend you to take inspiration and ideas from this implementation and obviously design it better, put the classes where they need to be, have separate files for the JavaScript or everything else around that. But there's a lot of knowledge around that on the web, so you don't really need us to show you the way for that. Thank you so much, and see you in the following videos.